So how's that saying go? You either get too much rain or never enough, right? So hello everybody. I hope you are doing just absolutely amazing. I'm by my cleaning crew, so don't mind them squawking at me, honking. But look at that. This is a beautiful, should have brought my pruners with me, Seminole pumpkin. Look at that. Gorgeous. This is a fairly large one, on the larger side, but beautiful. Look at that. And the vines normally this time of year would just be pumping out these squash like crazy, non-stop. But we are very dry. If you saw my last video of these vines, they were doing extremely well. Yeah, well, the rains never really came. So they are on pause, and they look horrible. This bed I'm going to run the ducks and chickens through anyway, so all this will still get cleaned up, but there's the vines right there. And as soon as they get some rain on them, they'll perk right back up and start taking over again, but they just don't have the rain they need at the moment to keep going, because, well, they are very adapted to drying out and they survive just fine. It actually takes water to grow a 5-pound squash like that. And there's another gorgeous one right here. Just out here harvesting these before something else decides to come give them a taste. And it's always better to have pruners, guys. Oh, goodness, should have brought some pruners. There we go. Two beautiful large squash. And I think there's one more right there. And another one over, hidden right there. Normally these guys would be taking over so much that the weeds wouldn't have much of a chance. But with it so dry, the weeds are getting an upper hand for the moment. It's alright. Even though we all hate weeds, I should actually like weeds. Weeds feed my ducks, weeds feed my chickens, weeds feed my coonies. Heck, weeds feed my goats. So, if there wasn't plants that I did not want on this property, I would be spending a heck of a lot of money feeding everybody. Well, there's actually two little ones here. So, the weeds actually work out very nicely. And these, they don't always turn completely orange when they're on the vine. They'll turn that nice beige, tan orange color completely in storage. But that's a nice ripe squash. And you can eat these as soon as you harvest them like this. They taste really good. But the longer you leave them in storage, they get really nice, sweet flavored. Really good. And see, there's a good example of why these guys do so well. They root everywhere. There's what would have been a root. This one's gonna fight me. There we go. So yeah, there we go, guys. Harvesting some of the amazing Seminole pumpkins. These get absolutely zero care from me. In fact, I have not planted them in years. Yep. And there's some of the plants there. I just let them grow. If they're in my way, they either get ran over or eaten or just shoved to the side. Not much of a big deal. And they basically have free reign of wherever they want on the property, as long as they're not impeding. And soil doesn't matter too much, because we're pretty crappy soil. I put mulch and clippings around my main plants. And actually that's where they reside. If you can see here, under this rootstock, they actually keep going underneath the main plants, and then once they get some rain, they'll spread out from here again. But not much bothers them. The bugs don't, not at all. Pickler worms can be a huge, huge problem with most squash. In fact, you cannot even plant most squash or cucumber in Florida during the summer or spring because you won't get anything. The pickler worms will completely destroy everything, 100%. But it's one of the amazing things about these guys. Pickler worms don't even touch them. Go figure. That's a nice little haul. These are good sized ones. They range anywhere from a pound to 4 or 5 pounds. And if you do take care of them, the yields are phenomenal. Phenomenal? Listen to my English. Phenomenal. Yeah, they are quite productive. And of course, the whole thing's edible. Flowers, young tips, young squash, ripe squash seeds. So no lack of food off of them, guys. And this is what you want to be growing. Things that don't really need much care and can fend for themselves. We had one good rain out here. One. About a week ago. And we were supposed to be in the start of our rainy season. Yeah, well, after that rain, it just shut off. I haven't had any since. And before then, bone dry. We were really, really dry. My plum trees here, which I don't irrigate either, are suffering. Here's a plum tree. They are really suffering. Actually starting to die back on me. So another day or two and they will have to be watered. Yep. Something I'm not used to doing. But I don't want to lose my trees, so they're gonna need some water. But anyway, either way, up and down the rabbit hole, around the mulberry pole, whatever, you know. Seminole pumpkins. These guys can store forever too. I think I had one sitting on my counter once for almost 2 years. Yep. It's crazy. Just sitting there, didn't rot, nothing. Cut it open, perfect. I remember eating it, yeah. The flavor, they go from not super sweet when you harvest them to getting nice and sweet in storage, and then that sweetness fades off. So, you know, you got a peak in storage. I'd say it's about 2 months in storage is their peakness, where they're super sweet, really good flavor, and they start to dry out a little bit. They start out moist, fresh harvest, you know, nice and moist. Then they get a little drier, and then they get, you know, they kind of get drier from there. Not bad dry, but they lose some of that moisture. But really good storing squash, super productive. Grow food, guys. I'm gonna go cook one of these up. Should film that. I basically just stick them in the oven. Just cut in half, scoop the seeds out, stick it in the oven, and just eat it with some salt and pepper, a little butter on it. Absolutely delicious. Super simple. See you later, guys. 10 minutes of Seminole pumpkins. Why not? They are pretty squash. Well, maybe let's go a little bit farther. Why not? These seeds I got from a grower. 2 seeds. Exactly 2 seeds I got from him. 2005, 6, I think it was. Yep. And I was down in Miami. And I was, whatever I was doing, don't mind what I was doing down there. And we were by the beach or something, and this guy had squash growing over his entire fence. I mean, covered. He had a, I don't know, pretty large frontage on his property, and just completely covered in squash vines. And there were squash, these, the Seminole pumpkins, hanging on the entire fence. And I'm like, wow. And he happened to be out there, and I'm like, what are these? And he said, they're Seminole pumpkins. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen something so productive. It's, you know, the height of summer. And they were just looking beautiful. And the guy was talking to me, yada, yada, yada. He said, oh yeah, these, I've grown them forever. I've, you know, delicious. You know, I don't even take care of them. And he had just a couple seeds, and he gave me. And that started these. Years ago, gosh, 2022 almost. That's a lot of years ago. I was young. I was you know, I was just a little kid, yeah. And I remember the guy talking to me, and he's like, "Yeah, here's a couple seeds. Plant them and watch them grow." And I've saved seed all these years. I'm glad I did, and I've grown these forever now. And they have proven for you know, over a decade, obviously, you know, way longer than that. And I've actually bought seeds over the years for Seminole pumpkins, and none of them have performed like this strain. They're either long neck, which or I'm guessing butternut hybrids or some butternut squash in their background, and they don't do that well. They just seem to peter out. You know, they'll fruit some, and then the vines just give up. Or there's some larger ones, which are, you know, some more of the South American genes in them, and those are more along the, you know, Calbaza, you know, the South American squash. And those guys get quite a bit larger and a little darker skin. And even those, not as hardy as these. They get the powdery mildew, the bugs get to them. And there's a few places online, you know, some of the larger seed places, you know, Baker Creek, I've bought seeds from. And none of them have been the same as these. And yeah, they're an amazing squash. And I don't know what else they would be besides Seminole pumpkins. They look like Seminole pumpkins when they're described. They're certainly very, very well adapted to the Gulf Coast and, you know, Florida and the southeast here. So, heck yeah. And like I said, even though they look like crap now, that's just, you know, they're so well adapted, they die back a little bit. The vines actually stay alive. They just lose all their large leaves that they lose all their moisture from. But as soon as you add water, they just sprout back. Every node that's rooted will sprout, you know, 3, 4, 5 shoots, and they take off again. And because these are actually true perennials, the older they get, the more productive they are. If you plant them from seed, that first year you get tons of male flowers. You know, you get a female flower every 10, 15 growing points. Productive, but not wow. I mean, once you get into, you know, 2, 3, 4 years, which I think these guys are coming on 3 or 4 years, and 15 minutes of video drive you guys nuts, they just pump out those female flowers. You actually get clusters of 2-3 female flowers when they're really happy. And they just keep on going. And this is just a little patch here for zero care, no water, no fertilizer. You know, 5 good-sized squash is not bad. And that's not even including the ones that I picked flowers off of and have eaten. I've eaten quite a few of them green, because I really do like these as a green summer type squash. They cook up really nice like that. They don't have any bitterness. Yellow squash, the yellow summer, and the zucchini get really bitter in my opinion. As soon as it starts warming up, they get some funky bitterness to them. These guys don't. So I like them as a nice green summer squash. So yeah, there's some extra me yakking at you guys. You know, why not? If you want to learn, you want to grow food, I guess you're watching the entire video. Yeah, I was messing around them YouTube stuff the other day. I'm like, really? You guys are only watching like 2 minutes of my videos? Psh, I'm gonna make them longer. Make you suffer. You know, right? Watch my videos. You want to find out about the awesome Seminole pumpkins? You want to see and get some awesome deals on some amazing bananas? Guess you watched the entire video, didn't you? I'm being vindictive. Alright guys, for real this time. See you later. The world's gone crazy. You better get growing some food. And yes, I sell these Seminole pumpkins, and I sell the seeds for a lot. I do. That's why you save your own seed, guys. I sell so many seeds and so much, I don't have enough. So don't get pissy, I'm just saying, when I only sell you a few seeds for an exorbitant amount of money. That is just so everybody can get some, because I want you all to live and prosper and eat good food, grow good food. And the only way that can happen is if I get it out to as many people as possible. Well, you guys pay me so I can keep doing it, you know? So, take care of your plants when you only get a few seeds of them, and then save your own seeds and grow more. That's the idea, right? That's the idea. I'm not there to give you 500 squash seeds so you can like, oh, I got 500. I don't give a crap about them. This one died. I'll grow some more. No. Care about what you're doing. Take pride in it. Save your seeds. Peace out, guys.